And what were some of the the atmosphere, obviously, because a lot of people who are not familiar with the criminal justice system think that it's about rehabilitation, and maybe at one point it was, but I guess a lot over the years, that whole idea it's just become punishment.
Yeah, well, go ahead.
In some facilities, it is about rehabilitation. It depends what facility you go into. Different facilities have different programs. We talked about Otisville. They have a bunch of programs. We have guys in there making solar panels. They have a greenhouse. They have a fashion program where guys are making bags. So it's what you make it when you're in there. I know that every facility doesn't have all those programs, but you take advantage of what's there when you're there, and you focus on that so that you come out, you don't focus on what they don't have.
What about, Norma, what about in terms of the programs? Let's get a little bit more specific about what you all offer, because I know we have a lot of listeners in Brooklyn too.
Yes, we offer
Com Alert out of the Brooklyn DA's office.
And it stands for Community and Law Enforcement Resources Together, and everyone we service is under the supervision of Parole in Brooklyn. We provide vocational training referrals. We already have individuals that are in college at Medgar Evers, obtaining their GED. Some even, that just came home after doing 37 years. He's actually right now attending college at Medgar Evers for his GED. We also provide services for them to obtain vocational training through VESIT, and they obtain their CDLs already. They're working. We have a job developer on site. As soon as they're enrolled into the outpatient substance abuse component, what we do is a vocational assessment, and it assists us with identifying where their needs need to be met. Who needs IDs? Who needs housing? Who wants to go to college? Who wants to obtain a GED? And every other Thursday, Ryan Mack is in our office as well, because we facilitate workshops just to enhance interviewing skills. He comes on site and does motivational speaking to our clients, which helps out a lot. They leave with inspiration.
What do you see as the difference between, in terms of personality or characteristics, between those who don't become recidivists and those who do? Those who go on to a successful recreation of their life and those who fall back. It depends, because you have some that will come out and they're serious, they're tired, they don't want to go back to prison, and then you have those that are still exploring their criminal occupation. So it's on a case-by-case basis. Most of the part, we have a lot of successors that completed the program and always come back to speak to others. So what they do is try to empower one another through the program, which helps out a lot. And Darnell Canada, and you're listening to Hot 97 Street Soldiers. I'm your host, Lisa Evers. And in this episode, very special focus, the Optimum fight against recidivism, led by Ryan Mack of Optimum Capital Management. You see him every other minute on CNN talking about financial matters. But that's because he was a Wall Street whiz. Now he has his own company. But he's not just concerned with making his own pockets fat. He wants everyone's pockets to be fat. Let me just put it out there straight to sum it up, right? I got to sum it up,
Hot 97.
Let me just make it plain and simple, because I gotta, say it to myself like that. Darnell, and this whole program is just incorporating so many different other programs and just really lifting up everybody. But Darnell, what do you see with the guys that come to you looking for these construction jobs through Rebuild? The ones that make it and the ones that don't?
The ones who make it are those who begin to believe in themselves and not waiting for somebody to do something for them. The ones who don't make it sit there and think that you're going to put your effort in, thinking they're a charity case, and you're going to stand up and you're going to do for them, and somebody's going to always do for them. And those are the ones that, truthfully, I got to tell you, I told, go somewhere else, because you're in the wrong place here. Because we want people who are going to stand up and take account for all the things that they did in the past and try to pay something back to the society just by being. You don't have to go and do anything for anybody other than yourself. Just be a responsible citizen and give back. I was once one of those guys who were formerly incarcerated, and if I'm able to turn my life around, ain't nobody better than me. I think every one of us has the opportunity to do something for the society and give back, but not just doing for other people, just doing for ourselves and our family.
But what in your attitude had to change? Because it sounds to me like you're talking about the people that succeeded in turning their lives around, took personal responsibility for their actions and what they did in their future. And the people that didn't were just looking for like a handout. But what kind of mental adjustment did you have to make in yourself to make that switch to a positive direction?
Well, the truth is, I was 27 years old and I couldn't read or write. So the first thing that happened that I had to get an education and begin to know something so I could form a complete thought and begin to think about the situations that I was going through. So while I was incarcerated, I got a bachelor's degree in psychology.
Wait a minute. So you went from not being you go into prison, you can't read or write, basically.
Correct.
And you come out with a bachelor's degree.
Correct.
That's awesome.
Man, and that was the change, just getting educated so I would have something to work with. See, a lot of people do things because they don't have nothing to work with. So once I got an education, when I came out here, I knew I was going to be successful. And I built all my plans on when I get out there, if I get a job making $7 and some change an hour, all of my plans was built on that. Anything after that was gravy. But I was lucky enough to get not one job, but 2 jobs. I worked in the day and I worked at night. And I had a little daughter. One of the checks went to her. The other check went to me. So I knew when I came out, I had to be responsible. And then after that, I started saying, okay, it's good to have a job, but I want to own some businesses. So even my organization is built around getting the guy a job, working for 2 months, and then coming back and sitting with me and building a plan to own some. Because as in the title of our organization, economic development is not a job. Economic development is getting a piece inside your community and helping make finances work with your family in your community and keeping the money into your community. So our organization is about not only developing and getting a job, it's about developing the community and about owning our community. And that's where Ryan Mack came in. He came in and he taught us how to work our finances, how to get the insurance, and how to do the things necessary for our people to own business.
And if I can just say that when we talk about how success is linked, Darnell talks about his story all the time, and we done had many late nights with chicken dinners, eating up, talking and vibing about what we want to do to help in our community. What he did when he went away to prison and he changed his life around and came back home. And I tell folks all the time, many times you're going to be on the other side of the table from me, teaching me. I mean, this brother has, I don't know how many days inspired me to do so much. And if he had not done all those things and what he had do to change his life around, when our paths crossed, he wouldn't have been able to assist me in the way that he has. And this is the way the community is supposed to work together. I'm Wall Street, his brother's Main Street. When we coming together, we are all the same. It is no one better or worse off than anybody else. But because of the work we're all sitting around this table doing, there's some people able to eat today.
And we're all here at Hot 97. Darnell Canada from Rebuild, if people want to get in touch with you, what should they do?
What they should do is come to 1222 Putnam. That's in the Bushwick section. It's right between Evergreen and Central. And
just go there.
Just come there. Come there. Fill out an application. Come there. Go through the orientation. Because if they can't make it through the orientation, I'm going to tell them this is not the place for you, because I'm real hard. I do all the orientation. And I let them know there's no games here. Just rules and regulations here. And if you can't follow them, you need to go somewhere else. I'm real harsh on people because I understand something. Most of us do the things that we do because we are not responsible and we didn't have nobody there telling us. Inside that prison, I've seen a lot of responsible brothers, not because they wanted to be, because there was somebody there making them. And when I came out here, I said, I'm going to use that same concept. And when we came out here, I'm going to tell these brothers, if you want a job from me, there's a certain amount of responsibility. Everybody we give a job to has to come to a meeting every Thursday, has to talk about social issues, has to give back volunteer time. You got to be involved in the community to make a difference. If I see you involved in the community making a difference, then I know you're not going to be part of the problem.
All right. So if that's Darnell Canada, you were just hearing, he did time a long time ago, and now he's got an organization called Rebuild, 1222 Putnam and Bushwick, and just show up. Right. And what's the phone number?
Call at 646-271-7310.
All right, 7310. You're listening to Hot 97 Street Soldiers.